So instead of answering and be truthful with yourself, Mr. Hole in the narrative, you make a slander video, slandering people, calling them names, and by doing that, by the way, you expose your prophet. Because now look what David will say to you. I mean, take it. Oh, here we go. You said he's a bad person because he have a bad language. What bad language? I never curse. David never curse. We read what is in the Hadith. You see, this is what they do. I did ask the women that her prophet, he asked a woman to give her boobs to be suckled, an adult man. The second you quote what they have, they call you sexual predator, which means they are admitting that their prophet himself is a sexual predator. If you quote what their prophet says, you have a foul mouth. If you quote what their Quran says, you have a dirty tongue. If you read what their book's saying, you are filthy, disgusting. This is what Yasir Qadhi is saying.
Dr. Qadhi is correct in that I'm not an academic in the area of Islamic studies. I do have a PhD and 2 master's degrees in philosophy, which Dr. Qadhi would say is irrelevant because he believes that the only people who can even discuss the preservation of the Quran are academics in the field of Islamic studies. But I would argue that philosophy is a perfect background for these discussions because at the end of the day, philosophers specialize in examining arguments.
David, I have, as long as you are a philosopher, I have a question for you. What is the philosophy behind a prophet promising his followers endless penis? Do you think this have to do, as long as you are a person of philosophy and logic, do you think this is like like he was telling us about the future, that internet cable will be used between galaxies? Like the Muslim have an endless penis, because soon we will see how actually already he did. He said he have a bad mouth. He said David would have a bad mouth. I mean, look who's talking about bad mouth. A guy who follows someone who speak all kind of filthy words. A person, even his promises is disgusting and they are stupid. Endless penis. So your wife, she is next to you and your penis in China. And then you receive a call from Ching Chong. You need a translator. Oh, you can use Google. He will go and give you a ticket for your penis because you park it in the wrong spot. What is that? So when they speak about language, look who is talking. And now who care about who have a PhD, who don't? It is you who said, there's a hole in the narrative. What does guy have to do with this?
Someone presents an argument and the philosopher examines the argument to see whether the conclusion actually follows. Why do I discuss the preservation of the Quran? Well, it's because countless Muslims over the past 2 decades have approached me and said, the Quran has been perfectly and miraculously preserved right down to the letter. It's a miracle. So the Quran must be the word of God.
True. Isn't it Uthman, he burned the Quran to preserve it? I mean, have you ever heard of a religion? They burned Quran to preserve the Quran. He burned the other Quran because they are different. How this is kind of preservation? I mean, look how stupid this religion is. From the beginning of Muhammad's life, the guy, he just died. And then Uthman, he found that the Quran is lost. And now there's many Quran. And Uthman, he decided to make one Quran. In order to accomplish that, we have to burn all other Quran. So how that can be preservation? Because obviously they are not matched. Otherwise, we will not burn them. What is going to hurt if we keep those Quran? We burn them only. They are not the same. Every Quran is different from the other Quran. And now, even after every Quran is different from the other Quran and we burn the other Quran, even now we have a problem. It's called the hole in the narrative. Muhammad, he gave us 7 Quran, we cannot find them.
That's an argument. According to Dr. Qadhi, when that argument is presented to me, I must remain silent. I can't critique the argument in any way or I'm overstepping my bounds. If you think I'm exaggerating here, just watch his video. He insists that Only academics are allowed to criticize the claim that the Quran has been perfectly preserved. Why do Muslim scholars want us to stay away from this issue when Muslim apologists and preachers have made it the center of their dawah? Because as soon as we start examining this argument, it falls apart. The argument from perfect preservation is so incredibly stupid that if philosophy professors weren't concerned about being labeled Islamophobes, they would use this argument as a paradigm example of a stupid argument. But again, Dr. Qadi doesn't want to respond to any of my actual claims. He simply wants to dismiss them. Carry on, Dr. Qadi.
The fact of the matter is that I simply could not listen to him, because if you haven't, then please don't. How does one put this? I mean, I have rarely come across somebody who is more vulgar, vile, foul-mouthed, noxious, repugnant, depraved.
It's like it's like a dog. You let him out of the leash. I mean, this guy, he have a lot of anger. He cannot put it in Mimi. He cannot put it in Fifi, because he's a coward. So he want to put it in the Christian guy. The one who is exposing you, you idiot, the one who is making fun of you, you idiot, is the Muslims. The one who is spitting at you is the Muslims. But you could not refute, and you could not fix the damage which you did, and Mimi did, and Fifi did. So what do? You slander the one you can slander. But you don't dare to go and slander Mimi Hijab, or Fifi, the one who leaked your email and he get you busted. Very trustworthy person. What does this guy have to do with this? And as long as you are talking about vulgar language and bad language, let us see some languages. I like you to teach me manner. The Prophet said, there is no one of you whom Allah admit to paradise, but Allah will marry him to 70. By the way, marry him, huh? Marry him. Take the word marry. Marry him to women he don't know? Okay. To 72 wives, this is good manner. 72 wives. Sex group. 2 from the Houris and 70 from the inheritance of the people of hell. Here, there's a guy, he made a video, I forgot his name. I think it was her name, Sisi or Fufu, Zuzu, I don't know. And I said in this hadith, it says here that all those women whom they have a desirable front passages. And I said, well, this is about their vagina and this is about their breast. The guy, he said, doesn't say that, CP. Okay, what is desirable front passages then? They are people of hell, they are bad. They are coming from hell. Imported from hell for what purpose? For sex. I mean, do you see the good manner? Even Allah will import prostitute hookers. This is why they are imported, because they are good looking and they are expert. And they have desirable front passages. And when a Muslim, he speak about good manner and bad language, as long as we are talking about desirable front passages, what about your God is speaking about desirable boobs in the Quran? Is that the language of God? I remember that he was speaking about the Song of Song, and then he found the name of Muhammad in the Song of Song, and suddenly the Song of Song became holy. But the Song of Song is a song of a man, he's a king. And he described things as he wish. This is not God talking. But when God, he speaks to us about what he will give us in heaven, and what he described for us is their breast. What we will say to such a God? Imagine if David or anyone, he make a video asking you to invite, let's say David, he is not a Christian, he is from a religion, it's called Big Boobs. And he said to you, if you believe in me as a prophet, my God will give you women with big boobs. That is not a bad language. What is the connection between believing in Allah and the big boobs of those women? I want to know. If there's a connection, obviously there's a connection. Your God is a sexual God. When a Muslim, he speak about bad language, how bad language can go. This is Al-Imam al-Nawawi. It is a hadith from the Prophet of Allah. Who he speak about sexual intercourse he did. I said this is a sexual intercourse with animals. Muhammad, he did. The Muslim, they say no, you are lying. I said let us read the commentary of the hadith. Shall we? This is the interpretation of the hadith by their biggest scholar, not like this guy who call himself Sheikh from Pakistan, who do not know anything about Islam. He's just a Google guy. If we read the interpretation, read carefully. This is not Christian Prince, this is not David Wood, this is not the whole of the narrative. This is as it is. The meaning of the hadith, that is necessity, that the necessity to wash what? Your private part, your penis, excuse my language. If you don't like, by the way, to hear this, just leave. Before we start reading, this is dirty, this is disgusting, just leave. If there's kids around you, get out. It's of the necessity to wash is not limited to when a semen is ejaculated. Rather it when it is when the penile head hashf, you know the word in Arabic is hashf. The head of the male penis, i.e. the head of the penis, penetrate the vagina. This is in their book, and then they continue. Then it's necessity for the women, for the man, and the women to wash. There's no disagreement on this today. Even though there was disagreement on this by some of the early companions and other later. However, an agreement was later reached, and this is what we have shown and presented previously. Now we continue. Read carefully, please. Read carefully the holy language of Islam, the holy books of Muhammad. Our companion have said that if the penile head has penetrated a woman anus, or a man anus, or an animal or animal's vagina, or it is anus. What? A woman anus, a man anus, animal vagina, or it is anus. Then it is necessity to wash, whether the one being penetrated is alive or dead. Necrophilia religion. That's why Muhammad himself, he slept with the woman, her name Fatima bint Asad, in her grave. Young or adult. You can read the rest. You can find this translation in Answering Islam website. This is the good language, and you are talking about foul language. We can show you endless numbers of filthy language. All your religion is filthy. You know, this guy actually, if you go to YouTube and type the word sex and Yasser Qadi, you will find that Yasser Qadi is expert. He have many programs about sex. In one of them, he speak about oral sex, and he say it is bad. This is not from good people. This is disgusting. This is even the Chinese, the East, you know, they consider this will not be done between a wife and a husband. This is between like a hooker and a man. But then we find Muhammad is saying that a woman, she have to taste her husband honey. And the Muslim, they translate the word honey as a sweetness. If I go right now and open the dictionary, what I will find? What is the meaning of Asila. You will not believe it. Asila mean sperm. Until she tastes his sperm. This is a prophet of God speaking about religion, saying to a woman she want to go back to her previous husband. The Quran says you cannot have back your previous husband unless you take off your panty, have sex with this guy, and not only that, you have to taste your juice. The Muslim, they say taste your juice here mean intercourse. What intercourse have to do with tasting the juice? Until he tastes your honey and you taste his honey. This is your translation. Let me open the dictionary so people they can see. We are not picking things up. This is what the dictionary is saying. Let me find the dictionary first. The Muslim dictionary, we will not use our own. Because, you know, if you use your own, they will say is lying. Right? Anything you say, they will say you are lying. Let me open it. I will copy the word in the front of you. I will put it in the dictionary, and you tell me what kind of a prophet and what kind of language and what kind of religion make rule that a man a woman she cannot go back to her husband unless she sleep with a new guy. And this is in the Quran, by the way, not only in the Hadith. All right, we found the dictionary, but it's taking time to open. Let us see. I will put it for you on the screen. And my computer is getting slower. Give me a second. It's taking a lot of time to load. All right, here we go. We have the dictionary. We will put the word there in the front of your eyes. Asila. Anyone who speaks Arabic, including Yasser Qadi, supposedly he knew Arabic, he can get me busted if he dare. This is Asila. What Asila? Here it's coming as honey, as you see. You see Asila? But this is here the Sharia, Qanuniya, Al-Asila, orgasm. Do you see it? Orgasm. Until you taste his orgasm and he tastes your orgasm. A woman, she cannot go back to her husband until she tastes the orgasm of a new man, not the same husband. How filthy, how bad the language, how bad the rules, how bad this God to make such a rule. The woman, she is divorced, she have no guilt. They aided her husband because Muhammad, he made divorce so easy. So men, they divorce as they wish. So if the Muslim, they say, oh, this is to stop the divorce from happening, well, it's not stopping. Here we go, as you see. The guy is still divorced her 3 times, and now she have to have sex with a new guy. If you want to punish the man. What about you say to the man, you go sleep with a different guy? Not the women. This is chapter 2, verse number 230. So because their prophet is a very bad person who speak a very bad language, when you quote what their prophet said, the Muslims accuse you to be a bad person. And actually what he is saying makes sense. The second you start talking about Jesus, nobody will accuse you of speaking bad language. The second you start quoting what their God is saying, what their prophet is saying, you are going to start using the word penis, vagina, etc. You have to. Because this is what it is.
The argument from perfect preservation is so incredibly stupid that if philosophy professors weren't concerned about being labeled Islamophobes, they would use this.
I don't know, for a second, when I showed you the word orgasm in the screen, was the screen on? I'm not sure. Let me see. Here we go. This is the word. Again, for those who did not see it, this is the dictionary, and this is the word al-asila. This is what Muhammad he said to the women. You have to taste his asila, and he have to taste your asila. What the meaning? Orgasm. As simple as that. A prophet of God speaking like this. I mean, there's many ways to say the word. Let us say enter you. Let us say you practice the marriage. You have a full marriage. Sleep with him. I mean, there's many words you can, but taste his juice, and he tastes your juice. This is a prophet of God.